Welcome to It's a Grand Life, where our mission is to be a voice for grand families and kinship caregivers everywhere. Did you know that in the United States alone, there are 2.3 million grandparents raising their grandchildren? 2.3 million. It's a Grand Life is committed to making a difference for those kids. That's why we have the podcast, a Facebook group, and the Grand Fund. The Grand Fund, which is a 501c3 which was launched in June of 2024, provides financial assistance to grand families, including shelter, food, clothing, and household needs. Grand families are in every neighborhood, in every city, every tribe and territory nationwide. If this is you or someone you love, we're here for you. And we welcome you to join us on this mission. Our goal is to offer hope and resources to help you. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us wherever you get your podcasts and leave a review. You can also join our Facebook group. Just search for it under It's a Grand Life. And your reviews, comments, and sharing of our podcasts help us reach others that need assistance. Welcome to another episode of It's a Grand Life. Hello, my name is Craig Nash. I'd like to welcome you to another It's a Grand Life. And we have got a grand interview here today. We've got two old friends joining us from an organization called Faith Works. And with the idea that faith that isn't worth a lot. And Domenic Morelli and Greg Long from the Faith Works organization, I believe two of the founders of the Faith Works organization, and they are also partners with It's a Grand Life. So when they run across a grandma or a grandpa that needs a ramp, we want to come alongside them and help fund that. And we've been able to do that, I think, one time, gentlemen, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. But welcome back to It's a Grand Life. Tell us what's been happening and what you're looking forward to in 2026.
Yeah. Well, it's great being here, Craig. Thank you again for the invitation. Always honored to talk to you, and especially with my brother in this wonderful journey, Greg Long. Greg is a board member and a great leader, and he's the leader of the ramp team. He allows me to hang on his coattails, which I like, and we have a lot of fun together. But yeah, getting directly with what we do with It's a Grand Life, what you have shared with us, and first of all, we put ramps together with you. A lot of the people we serve are grandparents that are helping raise grandchildren. And by being partners with you, it's really raised our awareness of how many grandparents there are out there that are still engaged in life, right, and still pouring into their kids and their grandkids' lives, and even some of their great-grandchildren. So it's pretty exciting to be a part of that. And Greg and I are involved more in the ramps with Faith Works, but Faith Works also does furnaces and hot water tanks and repairs steps and safety items for the home. That's what we're based on doing, creating safety items. Greg and I have been doing this since we started 16 years ago. We have no paid staff. We're all volunteers. And we just feel God's love calling us to do this. And, Greg's got a tremendous amount of experience in this. I'll let you, Greg, share how you're motivated to do ramps and sort of what God brought you to do ramps.
Yeah, hey, thanks, Dom. And thanks for inviting me, Craig. It's great to be here. One of the things that I get present to just about every week is that I think I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't question it anymore. There's no politics in the background. It's just someone in need, we go serve. And, it's just never been a problem. So years ago when I was sitting there, I had some extra time because I was building a company and I had some extra time. And I went on the Kensington website and they had this group called Faith Works. And then they also had this thing called Man Up, so I registered for this thing called Man Up. And there I was 4 days later up north with 600 Christian men going, how did I end up here? And then when that weekend was over, I ended up sitting at a restaurant in Rochester with another 8 men who actually were members of Faith Works. and it just all called to me, and it was in complete alignment with what I was building. So I know this is where we're supposed to be, and every opportunity along the way to serve has been just a blessing in my life.
And
And it's just, Craig, and one of the things about our relationship is you've come to the table with a new awareness for all of us. I was friends with Dom, and I know Dom serves and helps raise his grandkids along the way and helps, mentor them and start to move through life with them. And I never knew it was a community, though, such a large community, till you came along and amplified the need for a support system to be in place, for people that are actually starting families all over again.
yeah,
I'm not in that situation, but I can't imagine right now because my grandkids are too young. But I'm not. I didn't say you were old, you guys. My grandkids are very young. So
we got the message. Let me move my walker and we'll keep the interview going. But as you mentioned, Greg, there's 2.3 million grandparents who are raising their grandkids across the country. And we probably never talked about before, but 80% of that number are struggling financially. And in the bottom 20% of that number, they're really struggling. They're below the poverty line, but the 60% above that poverty line number, these are folks that really probably didn't save enough for retirement. And then they have 1 to 3 grandkids they're raising. And and with the cost of everything, it's just a huge challenge. But this discussion today is probably going to be aired around Giving Tuesday. And if you're watching this online and you're not sure where you should support an organization that's really where their walk matches their talk, FaithWorks can't recommend them enough. My wife and I support them. We're partnering here with It's a Grand Life. I love these guys, and I promise you, every dollar you give them, except for just a few pennies of it going to admin, are going to be used to support grandparents. And let me tell you, the last time we did, well, I think probably the most recent time that I remember that we helped with one of your recipients who was getting a ramp. This young lady grandma lived in Romeo, Michigan. And she was working with her daughter, and I think there were 3 grandkids involved. Correct. And when I started talking to her, because they had some school supply issues or something else, and she was singing the praises of these 2 gentlemen, like you expected them to be walking across the Detroit River next time you saw them. She was speaking so highly of them. But we were able to come alongside with them and get some school supplies. And I remember I was cutting my lawn, and the phone rang, and I didn't recognize the number. And it was this grandma who had been a recipient of a new ramp and also got the school supplies. And she is crying on the end of the phone. And it was just so powerful. And we were able to help these folks that are truly struggling financially. And imagine if you had the inability to get out of your house and you are a grandparent and you're raising your grandkids. I mean, it's like living with 2 arms tied behind your back. And these gentlemen went to her house, put this ramp in, and it was life-changing for her daughter. And that's the type of organization you're supporting when you're supporting FaithWorks.
Yeah, well, thanks, Craig. That's a great word. And we really agree with you about the grandparents. They're on our heart now. Greg and I personally had an involvement this year with another grandmother and grandfather in Southfield. We actually moved a ramp. They moved homes. They moved actually into a ranch, which was more convenient for her. And she needed not only the ramp that we installed, but she also needed a way to get a walk-in shower. And we don't do a lot of that, but we actually helped toward paying some of that toward a contractor that she had found, and she had saved some money with her husband to do it. And then she told us 2 of her grandsons live with her, and she's helping raise them. And one of them was named after her. And she's just was crying to us and just saying, this is what God's created me for, just sort of like what Greg said. When you know what God's created you for, there's no better day in your life, right? In fact, a pastor has said that to me. There's 2 great days in your life: the day you were born and the day you realize why you were born. So, and I really believe that in my heart that, when you have a purpose and God's blessed you with talent and ability, then you using that talent and ability to honor God and serve others. There's no better way to doing that. And what you said about Giving Tuesday is so right. There's a lot of people out there that either don't have the time to serve or don't have the ability to serve, but that God's blessed them with resources. And they want to make sure those resources, since they're stewards of those God-given resources, they want to make sure they're used properly.
Right.
And we can guarantee that. If you want to give to faithworksmichigan.org, you can go online, faithworksmichigan.org. You can give, and 95+% of that money will be used toward the cause. Very little overhead we have for insurance and
Right.
And that type of thing. But the goal is we don't get paid, and we partner with a lot of other people too. And that people have asked me that you can't do everything. You're right, we can't. If God's not calling you to what we're doing, we don't expect you to give.
Right.
But we have a lot of other partners. We have younger partners. Greg's a lot younger than me. He looks a lot better than me too. He looks a lot better than me. He could be doing this for another 20 years. I don't know how long I have.
Actually, I think I'm 3 years older than you.
Yeah, but you look a lot better than me. And the cool thing about this is God's bringing us younger people and other organizations that we're partners with, and we're actually mentoring them and coaching them because we realize God's also given us that ability, right? How can we bring up the next generation of leaders? And I'll save that for the next time we talk, Craig, because I'm really excited about that too, because that pours into the next generation of leaders to walk with us, right? Because it's not just about what we do, but it's about us sharing it.
And I think that's going to be our focus for 2026. It's not, of course, it's raising money so we can continue to serve the people we want to serve, but it's also creating a sustainable future for Faith Works. Because right now, at this pace, 16 years, the same people coming in without new partners or new members or new things like that, it's not sustainable. And we want to leave a mark.
Right.
And we don't want all this to be a temporary, opportunity to serve people. We want everybody else to join and have that opportunity to feel what we feel every time we get to go to somebody in Romeo and knock on the door and have her hug me and cry on the front porch.
Right.
Because we're there to serve and help her get through her day-to-day operations. We want other people to experience that. And the only place I tell you that out of all the experiences I've had, true happiness only comes from there.
100%. And as we think towards this Giving Tuesday, this end of the year giving to support FaithWorks, I know, Greg, you sometimes you look at the inventory that you need to put a ramp up, for example. And I want to talk to the folks that are listening at home that are kind of like me. You're not handy at all. In fact, if I put up their ramps, they'd be redoing them, and so they'd be going in circles. But those of you who would like to make a difference here, what would you say the average cost of a ramp would cost to put one up for one of your recipients? Just a ballpark.
Dom has a clear picture, but anywhere from $3,500 to $6,500 is probably the window of the average ramp.
Yeah.
And if somebody wants their to be a part of a ramp, when they donate, let us know, and then we can let them know that the ramp is in, and we can send them personal pictures. They don't just have to donate and disappear. We want them to be part of the experience, or
Absolutely.
they can come, we can schedule a ramp, and if they're available, they can come join us on the build of that ramp and meet the person that they're actually giving to.
Yeah, that's
Right?
a great
So-
word, Greg. That's a great word, really.
Just want to have the experience that everybody gets to share it. It's not just we're looking for somebody to throw money in the pot. We want you to feel what we feel on a day-to-day basis. So, and it's the same thing with you, Craig. You partnering beside us. What a difference we made for that woman in Romeo. And I want that to be the everyday.
I do too. Yep.
The everyday. We have other partners that when we call, they show up, and when they want to be with us, or if we need something, we have people we can call. We just have to expand that in 2026 because we're getting so big, that if we don't expand, we're going to have to put the brakes on the amount of people we serve, not stop serving. We just won't be able to serve a larger community.
So we're not just talking about resources then, Dominic and Greg. You would like to have more bodies that come alongside you, so you could really expand the work. And what about partnering with a church in
Sure,
the Metro
sure.
Detroit area, and you
Yeah.
could help with training? And have you gentlemen considered that at all?
Oh, absolutely. Well, in fact, Greg mentioned that. He mentioned Kensington Church. We have
Yep.
other partners. We have, wonderful Mission Church in Shelby has been a great partner of ours. Faith Lutheran's also been a great partner of ours. Faith Church. Um, they not only help with finances, they help with people. And sort of the way Greg got connected. So we have wonderful partners in the church community. We have partners in the nonprofit community. And now God's bringing partners in the for-profit community. And the for-profit community are talking to us about how do we partner with a nonprofit, or how can we start a nonprofit? How do we do that together? And that's helping us understand that God's vision is a lot bigger than our vision. Right? God's given us a job to do and we're walking forward in the job, but God's also providing other things. And we have the ability to say, oh, no, no, this is our plan. This is our organization. This is what we're going to do. Right?
Yep.
Because we have a God who's very organized, but we also have a God who's organic. That Spirit of God is always flowing. So you have to always watch and listen to what that Spirit is telling you. And if God is bringing you other people, rather than saying, no, that doesn't fit our organization, you can say, okay, well, let's listen to what they're saying. And if it's Spirit moved, it's either going to be a partner with us or possibly a partner with one of our partners. The goal here is not to just run it in our sandbox. We don't own the sandbox. God owns the whole beach, right? We have a little part of that beach, and it's a wonderful part. We get to see the sunrise and the sunset and enjoy it. But the goal is the beach continues forever, right? The grains of sands continue forever. God's got a big plan. And the cool thing is if we're open to listening and then opening to connecting, then we can do a lot bigger job. And we don't make it about us. Greg and I laugh about this all the time. It's not about us. God makes it about us. God basically honors us doing this, but we don't do it for us. We don't care. We don't care if we get any credit. We don't care if anyone pats us on the back. That's not what we do it for. Is we know we're walking in purpose. We know that joy that fills that hole in your heart. That's the only thing that can fill it, right? Is that love of God. And then when we see life change for people that God's brought us to, some of those grandparents that you're talking about, Craig, that you've been serving for years, there's no better way to live your life because you live it with complete joy.
I'm telling you, that should be on a business card right there. There is no better way to live your life than in service to others. And the joy that we get when we connect with someone who did not see an end, did not see a solution to their problem, did not see the ramp around the house. What ramp? We can't even spell a ramp. And now that ramp comes in, and now their life has changed. And Greg, you've told me many times about folks that are stuck in their house. They can't get out. What type of life is that? And now you're bringing freedom to folks and allowing them to get their life back. And that's just so great. And so next year when we get together, we're going to talk about this, the next generation and the mentoring discipleship program for FaithWorks, how we're going to reach the next generation and see FaithWorks continue to expand and grow wherever the good Lord leads you. And it's been so good. But
one more thing I want to add, Craig.
Yeah.
We're always looking for other volunteers and things like that in the field. But one of the important things I see happening in 2026 is bringing on professionals to operate in the background, like grant writers, people with organizational skills that see 50C3s, how to train us into operating a 50C3 at the best, at the level we're committed to coming, from not necessarily feet on the ground, not necessarily, but other people that can mentor us in growing as big as we want to be. Because I can see that we're bumping up against a lot of things that a bigger business bumps up against.
Right.
You know, the growth pains, you know, are the same people doing the heavy work? Is there enough opportunity to train somebody to do outside work so we can eliminate? We need guidance in how to do that sometimes.
That's
You know,
absolutely.
and there's a lot of business people on, but no one's actually operated a 50c3 where the game is different. The game is completely different when there's nobody getting paid.
Absolutely. Yep.
Right? So to have somebody organize a group of people, of volunteers inside of building something that's sustainable, we'd love to have people, you know, join us and have a conversation about what that might look like. And the grant writers, you know, anybody that, you know, my wife works for Beaumont Foundation where there are abundance of grant writers, you know, but if we could find one or two that could write grants specifically for Faith Works.
I just absolutely, I think you're on the right track. You're just expanding, and you need not just folks that are good at redoing the bathrooms and the water heaters and also the ramps, but folks that can make the business office go. So you can just really expand and manage those fundraising dollars. I can't imagine all the companies that would want to help with grants to help folks get a ramp, and that's absolutely terrific. And so maybe folks are listening. If you're listening at home and you have this expertise, call the number at the bottom of the screen or log on to FaithWorks. Is it faithworthmichigan.org?
Correct.
And share that expertise with this wonderful group, and you'll be so glad you did.
Yeah, we're honored what the work we've done together, Craig, in 2025, and just praying for a phenomenal 2026 together. We know that, you know, God has brought us together for a purpose, and we're excited. Thank you.
Oh, thank you guys. I can't wait to see where we go next year. And I get a treat out of seeing the pictures every week. Now, these guys put ramps up every week. And there's a picture most of the time with Greg and Domenic sitting around a new ramp and with all the other guys that help make it happen. And this is not something that they do once a month or once a quarter. It is an ongoing project, and there's ramps going up all the time. So you guys share a lot of joy and a lot of love in what you're doing. And we just hope that the Lord will just bless the work of FaithWorks. You started out of a small group Bible study. What are we going to do? We're reading James. We got to put faith into action. And man, have you lived that out and just really been a blessing to the whole community. Thanks for being our guest here again on It's a Grand Life. We want to hear about the mentoring next year, but I hope you just have a tremendous fundraising season and get all those ramps you need to get for next year. Thanks so much for being our guest.
God bless you, brother. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg.
Bless you guys.
Thank you for joining us today for It's a Grand Life. It's a Grand Life provides vital content, regulatory updates, and subject matter experts that are committed to supporting the 2.4 million kids and their caregivers from every neighborhood, every city, every tribe and territory nationwide. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel or wherever you get your podcasts and leave a review. Every new subscriber and review helps us reach others that need assistance. As caregivers, we are united in purpose. We are driven by hope while providing strength for today and hope for tomorrow. We are truly making a difference while living the grand life. If you have a suggestion for a future episode, please reach out to us. But we'll see you next time for another It's a Grand Life. Thank you for joining us.